International Expeditions is pleased to be bringing you this webinar this evening. We are here to talk about Ecuador, Andes, and Amazon. And I'd like to start by turning it over to our first presenter, Tara Ellison. Welcome, Tara.
Thank you, Lee. Welcome, everyone. We are glad that you've joined us tonight here at International Expeditions to talk about Ecuador, our Andes and Amazon program. This is a new program for us in 2016, and we're very excited about it. Again, my name is Tara Ellison, and I'm the Director of Operations here at International Expeditions. I've been with the company for a total of 15 years, and while I've traveled quite a bit, I've traveled more into Ecuador and Peru than to most of the other countries that we travel with, so they're very near and dear to my heart. There are also two other people who will be joining us tonight. John Hayes will be joining us, and Xavier from Ecuador will be joining us as well. So now I'm going to give John just a few minutes to tell you all about himself.
Good evening, everybody. My name is John Hayes, and I'm down here in the sales and escorted travel planner. I started with International Expeditions back in 1991, and have had the privilege to go on a number of trips, including recently just getting back from Ecuador and on the lovely ship, the Anaconda. So I look forward to tonight's presentation, answering questions, and hopefully talking to you later on the rest of the week or at any time. Thank you.
Thank you, John. If you'll go ahead and advance us to the next slide. Okay, so why should you consider going to Ecuador with IE? There are several reasons. A few of them are listed there on your screen, such as the chance to discover the Andean culture. If that's something that you haven't had the experience of having yet, it's one of the most amazing cultures that I think I've experienced in my travels. Such warm people, so friendly and open, and ready to share their culture with you, just like you were old friends from next door and had lived there your whole life. You can also do naturalist guiding, hiking, and kayaking on this trip. There's dugout canoes that we actually paddled during one part of it, and it was just extremely relaxing and enjoyable. Such a great experience. It's a combination of cruise portion and land exploration, so it's showing you quite a bit of Ecuador, and Ecuador definitely has a lot of diverse habitats to share with you, so it's a shame to go there and not see more than one portion of it. We also look for partners in countries that we work with that have the same type of conservation and ecotourism practices that we do, and we're very excited to be working with the company that we work with and our partners in Ecuador and this new ship, the Anaconda, which is an absolutely beautiful vessel. We have experienced local guides. We've been doing this now for 35 years. We started actually with the rainforest as one of our first trips, so we are definitely experts on the rainforest, and again, near and dear to our company's heart. And most importantly, we're there to bring you an immersive experience. We want you to really get into the destination, enjoy it, learn about it, and come to love it the way we do. So those are just some of the reasons why you should travel to Ecuador with IE. So tonight, we're going to talk about Ecuador with someone from Ecuador, which is really exciting for us. It's kind of the insider's view. So Xavier, I'm going to go ahead now and turn the presentation over to you and let you introduce yourself and start sharing what the wonderful experience of this program is with our guests tonight.
All right, thank you very much, and good evening to everybody. Regards from Ecuador. Thanks for joining us. As mentioned before, we're going to talk a little bit more about Ecuador and the program that we are offering at the moment. So, in Ecuador, as you know, we are right in the middle of the world. Some people are going to tell me why Ecuador are not part of the jungle, or not other part of the jungle. Something very important to know is that, like some 100 million years ago, when all the world was frozen, only Ecuador, the area of the Ecuador, because it is the middle of the world, was one of the parts that did not get frozen. So all the animals were able to live in here, not dying because of this frozen thing. So this is one of the main things that you can mention to all your passengers why Ecuador and not other part of the world. We are a mega biodiverse country. Okay, so many of the animals that you can find in Ecuador can't be seen in other countries, even that we are part of the jungle. So that only in Ecuador you can see. Okay, so that's one of the main points of visiting the jungle in Ecuador. More considering that we have many beautiful destinations such as Otavalo, Papallacta, Quito City, and some other places that we are going to be watching in this presentation. Okay, so getting more a little bit in details about the destination and the program that we offer. Sorry. Here. This is a beautiful picture of the city of Quito. As you know, Quito is located right in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of the avenue of the volcanoes. So to have this site every morning is just something spectacular, that you can see the big snow in there with 5,897 meters altitude. One of the highest active volcanoes in the world is the Cotopaxi volcano. It's a really beautiful mountain that many people love to climb this one. Well, actually now it's having some eruption situation, but it is like very beautiful to see it from Quito, to see the big column of ashes or some water in there. It's really nice. So Quito is a beautiful city now. In the last 10 or 20 years, we have getting a lot of prizes because it also has the most biggest, best conserved old town in all the world, getting one of these big awards of the Grammys of tourism. So Quito is like a really beautiful city where you can visit a lot of places, not only the historical place, but we have many nice destinations in the closest areas. In this area, we're going to be staying in a beautiful hotel into the program that we are talking about now. We are going to stay in this beautiful hotel. Is the Hotel Plaza Grande, Patio Andaluz. It's the Hotel Patio Andaluz that's located right at the old town. So from here you can just easily walk and have a nice time in the old town that is located only 3 minutes from the governmental palace where you can see the president. So it's a really nice hotel, well located, very comfortable. It's a first-class hotel, so it's everything you can see in the area. And in the next,
and I'll also add in and say, Xavier, that the food in general is really good, but particularly at that hotel, they have a wonderful restaurant to the inside courtyard that's beautiful, and that will bring you local cuisine as well. So this is one of my highlights and favorite places of this trip.
In this one, they try to conserve also the traditional meals of Ecuador, so it also gives a different experience for tasting meals, Ecuadorian meals, which is really nice, and people love that when they get to the restaurant. And also the people that's serving is dressing their typical dresses, which is also part of the experience. Very nice. This is part of the colonial town that you can see, that big giant church just behind. That one is the Plaza San Francisco. From the Patio Andaluz you can walk only 10 minutes and you're going to be located in this area. So of course this is one of the destinations that we are going to visit during the tour. In the tour of the colonial town we can visit some of the churches. That's one of the main attractions of the tour. Okay. To learn more about the history and to be walking into the historical streets is nice because each street has a colonial name, so you can feel identified with some of these streets, and you can also understand why these streets had these different names, which is beautiful. In the next picture you can see some more closest, this one, closest photo of the San Francisco Church. Okay, so this one, for example, has a nice legend that tells about the people that lived in that time, that they were poor and they were hiring for building this church, and they make some deal with the devil. So it's really, really nice. I mean, in Ecuador, in Quito especially, we have a lot of histories and a lot of legends that we call to explain the things that we can just imagine how it worked like many years before. Then on the next day, we can move a little bit upper to the north, where we're going to be visiting the Otavalo Indigenous Market. Otavalo, as you know, is one of the the biggest indigenous market that we are still conserving their culture. So that's why this market is very famous. And then you can see the animals market, where people can share with the indigenous and to learn how they normally have their cosmovision to be trading animals for food, for seeds, or for things like that. That is part of the indigenous mentality. And also, as in this area we're going more in the mountains, you are going to see more special birds. Okay, for example, this beautiful photo is of a condor, is a female one. Okay, that is more representative in this area because from here to the east, you can see one of the biggest homes of the condors. In all the world, we have around 70 to 80 condors, and only in Ecuador you can find up to the 60% living in this area. There is a reserve called Antisana that's very close to this area of Otavalo, and in there you can find also the condors that they are nesting or hatching the babies. So it's really, really nice to experience part of this. And of course, we have a lot of fauna and flora that you can experience during the time. Of course, we're going to be using a naturalist guide, which is going to be explaining about all the details and why the flora is so colorful. Some plants or some orchids are going to have more different, what's the word? Some shapes that looks like animals. For example, we have some orchids that looks like bees. So tourists love this, to see this. It's just a big world of orchids and other plants. Then we're going to be staying at a really beautiful place in a hacienda. It's a traditional hacienda where always they conserve some alpacas. So also people can learn more about the alpacas and the difference between the alpacas or flamingos or some other of the same family that they are going to be learning more about. Okay? Here you can see some of the accommodations. As you can see, are more traditional. And of course, to be living in traditional habitats, it's more friendly for people looking for something different and not only for a normal and traditional hotel. So it's like really, really beautiful. Then after this and after a beautiful experience in the north, we're going to be moving to the jungle. Okay? In the jungle, we are going to be taking a cruise. This cruise, of course, is going to give a totally different experience that is not always the same to be taking a lodge or to take a cruise. And I'm going to tell you some of the benefits of taking a cruise. With a cruise, you can take long distances visits, not only with a lodge that you can adjust to maximum 2 hours sailing. In a cruise, we are always moving from place to place, so we want to call it like every day a new day, because every time you wake up, you're going to see some different paradise, some different kind of fauna, some different kind of flora, some different culture. I mean, every day is a different day. Okay, this is a luxury boat. It's a really beautiful luxury boat. It has 3 decks, as you can see here. On the main deck, you're going to find the restaurant, for example, in the entrance. There's a lobby for the check-in, and then it's the restaurant. In the second deck, you're going to find all the cabins. As you can find in the right place, you can find a French balcony for all the cabins. And finally, on the third deck, you're going to find the deluxe suites, okay, which conserves a real balcony. And finally, on the upper deck, you can find the jacuzzi that we're going to be watching a bit more in advance. In here, this is one of the cabins that we have on board of the Anaconda. This one is a standard cabin. As you can see, it can be a twin bed or matrimonial bed, depending on the request of the passengers. It has a French balcony, as you can see there, so it has a nice time to be watching there. There is the restaurant. So this part is some of the part that I love of the boat, because sometimes you can see some animals from this place. Exactly from this place, you can see some of the animals that are maybe drinking some water, or maybe the monkeys jumping on the trees. And imagine you can see all these things when you are lunching, you're taking your lunch. So the experience, of course, is going to be everything comparing to other activities. We have in this boat some delicious cuisine, some international cuisine. We have a professional chef that has a lot of knowledge of different issues. And more of this, we have a lot of activities that we can do because we are down the river, which is deeper. So it gives us the chance to do the kayaking or to explore the jungle in canoes. Of course, this is maybe the best way to explore the jungle, because as the canoes are not noisy, you can see much more animals. With this thing, we have seen a lot of exotic fauna, especially monkeys that are the most easy to see, and maybe sometimes some tapirs, okay? Some of the piranhas, some pink dolphins, the caimans, especially during the night. The caimans are very exotic, and we have like three kind of caimans in the jungle, which is really, really different. Then, for example, you can see some of the activities is the kayaking. People love to do this. On board, we count with 6 kayaks in doubles, okay? Of course, this can be for single too. And in the case we need more, we can take 4 extra kayaks in total for 15 passengers. This is an activity that people can take the chance to do it in different places. And of course, it's going to give a different experience. For example, be kayaking and very softly through the jungle and enjoying the monkeys jumping on the trees while taking a beautiful picture. It's really amazing. More than this, we also offer some exotic activities with the communities. For example, in this photo, you can see that there are people eating these yellow things. It is called chontacuro. It's something like a worm that lives on trees, but it's one of the main founds of proteins for the indigenous. So this is like a very exotic meal in the jungle, but people loves it.
Yeah, can I stop you real? I had that experience when they first showed it to us. I must admit, I had a little reservation because they were telling me that it was, like bacon, and I just didn't believe it. But I tell you, once they grilled it, I was much better, and I kept eating several of them because they actually were very surprising. That it tasted nothing like what your mind was thinking, but it was very interesting and very tasty to have those.
Mm-hmm. So this is something really important, because what we do with this boat is to share a lot with community, and not only with one community. We take almost 6 different communities through the jungle and through the different areas of the tour. So that's one of the main focus of the boat. They try to share more with people, to do more active the culture with people, and it's nothing like circus that sometimes passengers like to call it, because sometimes in different activities they are waiting, like dressing or something specific. But in this case, no, we are just going to be joining them and to be living part of their lives. And in this one, for example, you can see there is an indigenous Quechua. These are Quechua indigenous people. And they are just farming. I think John joined to this part too. They are just farming the yucca.
I did it, and what's interesting is that just that the Quechua, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they're related to the Quechua and similar. So that was an interesting aspect, just from traveling in Peru and learning about the Quechua there, and then seeing the Quechua here and going through the different aspects. It was an interesting cultural comparison.
Yeah, even though the name is very similar, the culture are very different. They are very friendly, and they are very happy to receive new visitors, to receive new friends, as they call, because for them, all the people that goes there to visit them are new friends for them. As you know, they are very deep in the jungle, so the access for people is like very limited. So when they get more people or new tourists, they are just like part of their family, so they treat you like family. It's a very nice part of this. And of course, a lot of exotic fauna, as you can see here, for example. Some monkeys, the caiman, the black caiman, the oat seals. This one is the stinky bird. It's really famous here. So you had a chance to see it, John. It's like very noisy, and it's
yes, as a matter of fact, we did see the Hudson and the stinky turkey of the Amazon. Yes, but they're beautiful though.
It's really, really beautiful. It is. Then, for example, here. I was just willing to talk more, a little bit more about the boat, because not only the cabins, because in the boat that you're going to spend some part of your time, you're going to have also some opening areas where you can to take advantage and to see some of the lectures of the wild fauna, of the activities, or some things of the beautiful jungle that we have. We have a jacuzzi in the boat, which is like really beautiful to be in the al fresco area, to take in a cocktail and to be enjoying the jacuzzi while you're watching some fauna in there. And you have like very nice things on the boat. The boat, that I told you, is a luxury boat, so it makes a difference, and all the people is very happy on the boat. We have a concierge that's going to be with you, as all the crew on the boat is bilingual. Okay, so in a 80%, sorry, the people in the crew is bilingual, so all the people have always assistance for what they need. So they are not going to be needing only for the guide for explaining something. And there is going to be a naturalist guide again. Okay, this naturalist guide is a level 2 minimum, which is going to be explaining all the things and all the details. As they are experts, sometimes there are some things that you can't easily see with your eyes. So the guide is going to be pointing to you and to identify, because of course as part of the fauna is that they need to hide in the forest. So sometimes they are really, really hard to see and to identify. Here, for example, we have a toucan. With the change of the colors, and they can be really hard to see. They do a particular sound with their beaks, and they also form part of the salty lakes, where all the parrots and the wakames goes there for drinking this water that carries a lot of salt. And this is because they want to, they normally into their diet, they eat some seeds, that these seeds are poisonous. So what they do is to go to these salty liquor places, to take some of this water and some of this sand, and the salt reduces the venom of the seed. Sorry. So this one, for example, is one of the teeniest monkeys that we can see in the jungle. This one can be only in one of your fingers. It's that small. Some of the exotic fauna that we have. And of course we have some of the beautiful sighting places, because there is nothing better than watching the jungle from the upper part. You can get up to the towers, and from there to see all the birds. We have activities since 5 in the morning to do these kind of things, because of course at 5 in the morning all the birds are going to be waking up. So from here you can see all the birds and to identify. In this place we have up to 457 different kinds of species of birds. So especially for bird watchers, this is a paradise, just to identify and to spend hours watching at this. So after a beautiful tour in the jungle, we're going to be leaving the jungle, of course. Of course, this is a beautiful picture of a sunset in the jungle. It's really nice. So after finishing the jungle, we're going to be returning back to Coca, okay? And in the Coca, we're going to take back the transportation, which is going to take us to a beautiful place that it is called Papayacta. Papayacta had some of the hot springs, the very, very famous hot springs that are provided with hot water from the Antisana volcano. Because of the specific and special weather that this zone has, we also have some different kind of plants, of orchids, of birds. As you can see, for example, in here you have some exotic orchids, some really nice ones, and some of the exotic animals that, comparing to the jungle, are going to be much more different. For example, in there we have the glasses bird, that is very nice, and it's very populated in the area of the Antisana. Some colorful birds, but they live in the cold weather. It's very nice, the area of the Antisana, because the weather normally is cold, but when you touch the water, it's like very hot. So it's like really nice to be spending and experience this area. And here, for example, this is the place of the thermas, hot springs, where we're going to be spending the time. So during the fall, you can see the snow of the volcano, the Antisana, and this water comes directly from this mountain, from this volcano. and getting warmed by the lava of the volcano, by the activity of the volcano. So it's a really nice place to be. So this is one of the beautiful programs that we have for the visiting Ecuador and the jungle, and of course we can complementary this with more activities. You want to talk more about this, John?
Yeah, we've got, you know, I won't go into great details because you can see a lot of this on our website, but the price rangings are, you know, from $48.98 up to the $54.98 for the deluxe suite. All of our departures are set in, you know, the optimal time to be there. We do have, you know, benefits of booking early. We got a discount. So if you want to take a look at the website, you can order a catalog from there from us that'll have the details of what we talked about tonight. But honestly, give me a call here at the office, and you know, be more than happy to talk to you about any of this, check availability on anything, and can even look at booking your international flights to help out. And there you can see our website for ordering the catalogs or even requesting a reservation. And I think we are kind of to the point where we may have some questions.
Yeah, thank you, John. And this is Lee. I don't know if we're going to bring Tara back in. I'm going to read you a couple questions here. I know she's been watching questions as well. There was a question here about the typical group size. How many travelers would you be going with on this trip?
Yeah, usually on the trip we can take on the Ecuador or the Amazon Andes part. The Andes part of 18 is kind of our max set, but on the Anaconda that is a little bit larger, so it can go up to 32. So you might have some other people with you, but we like the smaller group size. So we go with that number. We can go as low as 4.
Okay, that's great. And you know, one of our other most frequently asked questions this evening was, what are the best traveling months for these areas?
May I answer that for you, Jen?
Yes, please, Xavier. Why don't you with us?
Cool. The best time, actually in Ecuador, as we are in the middle of the world, we don't have like seasons or very definite times for traveling or not. So in Ecuador, you're going to have all the time, all the year, 12 hours of sun, 12 hours of night, and also the time of raining or sunny. We call it like rainy season or the sunny season because we don't have like a spring or a summer or something like very defined. So in Ecuador, it's very nice to be traveling all around the time, all around the year. Okay. Anyways, I would personally prefer to recommend the times from November to May, because this is part of the something like a rainy season, which makes the river rises. And when the river rises, mostly animals can be seen, okay, which makes much better and much better the experience.
Okay. So Tara, I know you've been watching the questions as they've been coming in, so maybe we can tap into you real quick and just see, are there other questions that came in that we would want to share with the audience right now? I think she's got her line muted. There you go. That's okay.
I was typing, so I didn't want you to hear me typing. I think a really popular one that has been I've seen a couple of times tonight is related to the climate of the area, kind of what temperatures to expect in the different seasons. So Xavier, is that something that you could share with us? What a typical weather day is like in the Amazon as well as around the Quito area?
Well, in the Amazon, as you know, it is the rainforest, so it's normal to have some rain on the forest. Okay, in Quito, many people, to make it like a joke, it calls like we have the 4 seasons on the same day. Anyway, during this time of the year, we are having some sunny mornings past 12 or 1 in the afternoon, we can have some small rains, okay? So this is going to be a little bit harder during February or April. That's like the main rain season. Especially during April, it's going to be mostly of the days like in the other way. Some mornings raining and some afternoons like with more sun. Anyway, the weather in Quito and in Ecuador is just not so stable, but you can always just enjoy the time.
And Xavier, one more that's kind of popular that I've seen tonight also is the difficulty of the trip. So if someone were in their, say, early 70s, how physically active do you think they should be to be able to really enjoy the trip and get the most out of it?
Ecuador is like very friendly for the oldies, because the weather is nice for them. Even that we are in the altitude, Quito is located at the 2,800 meters altitude, but it doesn't make so hard effect like passing the 3,000 meters. So all the hotels, for example, have like very good accessibility. In the boat, in the Anaconda, also the access is really, really easy and and the crew is very prepared for helping all the oldies. In the jungle, also something of the good parts is that it is a little bit humid all the time, all the year. It's a little bit humid, which keeps the people sometimes like fresh, okay? So for breathing, especially after being in the highlands when they have some problems with the altitude, when they return to the jungle with this humid, they get like immediately better.
I also, have a personal experience with that. I actually was on the Anaconda about a year ago, the week before Thanksgiving actually, last year, and I was traveling with a gentleman who was in his late 80s, and he was traveling with his son. It had been his lifelong dream to see the Amazonian rainforest, and he was there in Ecuador. They had actually a family friend that lived in Ecuador that joined them there as well, and he did fantastically. He had a knee replacement, so he did have some issues getting in and out of the boat, but he was assisted so quickly and so easily by the crew of the Anaconda when he needed assistance. And he actually joined us on every excursion except one, and he had decided that he wanted to just enjoy the boat that day, and stayed on board and had a couple of cocktails and was just as happy that day as well. So if you want to make it work and you're not really sure, then you just speak with your guide and they'll help you and help you make it to the excursions. And then if you want to take the option to have an extra little bit of rest, that's absolutely an option for you there as well.
Yeah, that is something that I forgot to tell you, that we have a concierge that's all the time in the boat. So sometimes we have some groups of young people mixed with some old people. So what they do is to organize in 2 different groups. It doesn't matter if it is, I don't know, a group of 10 people. We're going to divide 5 or however it is the group, and to divide in different activities for young people to do a little bit more in adventure, to long walks, or something that is more entertaining for them. And of course for oldies, for the oldie peoples, we're going to be conserving like in activities in the boats that they normally doesn't want to walk a lot. Of course there are also sometimes some people that want to walk normal, like young people, but sometimes when we have old people that doesn't want to walk or to do some exhaustive activities, the concierge is going to organize this for them and to separate the groups with at least 2 or 3 guys that we have on board.
Absolutely.
For example, some of the activities we can do if they don't want to go to the jungle, we can do some of the cooking classes or maybe some chocolate tasting or something like dancing classes on board, or just to do some different things. It's up to the situation, relaxing situation, and to have fun, not being exhausted or something like that.
Wow, I missed those chocolate tasting classes on board. I may just have to come back and visit that.
Of course, you're welcome. I'll be waiting for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Tara, do you see, it looks like we've covered everything now. Was there anything else that you wanted to cover before we wrap it up?
I think we've covered most of our questions, and I just want to say again to everyone that joined us tonight, thank you so much for giving us part of your evening so that we could share Ecuador with you. Again, this is a fabulous program, a beautiful boat, a gorgeous country. And if you can find the time to join us, we would really love to welcome you to Ecuador and let you experience this beautiful country on your own.
With that, I think we'll say good evening and conclude our webinar. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.